Ladies and gentlemen, normally on the Anthony and Todd Show, we start things off with some musical intros, but this week we're not going to do it. We're actually instead going to do another audio experience, fun for the whole family. This week we're actually going to be doing some Oreo cereal ASMR by our good friend Trevor over here. He's gonna eat some Oreo cereal, give you the whole entire experience, give you the whole audio sensory experience. Guaranteed to make your dick tinkly.
I need quiet on the set, please.
Okay.
Wow. I sure am hungry. I could really go for some cereal right now.
Okay, I think that's it. I think we're good. Oh no. It makes my dick tinkly. I feel like I need to protect it.
You want some?
Yeah, I just want to eat it. I don't want to be a weirdo and eat it in the mic. I'm just hungry for some Oreo cereal. That's kind of good, but not really.
I like it.
Welcome everyone to the Anthony and Todd Show. I'm your host, Vincent, aka the Champ, aka I don't have the flu. I was tested yesterday. I don't have the flu. I just have a virus.
That's good.
I just have a bowl of Oreo cereal. And I'm joined today by my ever attentive co-host, my best friend, my pal, my amigo, Trevor, aka Coolio's Woolly World for the Wii U, aka Young Semicolon, aka DJ I have low blood sugar and I can really go for a snack right now, aka Aesthetic Memes 1.5 hour vaporwave mix. This is episode 27 of the Anthony and Todd Show, an episode we would like to call We're a Pepperoni. There's also an alternate title called Triplet Fantasy Ass to Ass to Ass. Some quality episode titles this week.
Amazing.
We got a great show planned for you this week. We're reviewing 4 projects. We're answering some of your questions. And we also got a new segment where we're talking about some of our favorite tracks of all time. To start the show, we're going to be talking about the new Car Seat Headrest, re-release, remastering, reimagining, Twin Fantasy Face to Face.
Reimagining is probably a good word.
Palm takes us to an island inhabited only by Dwayne Johnsons called Rock Island. Oot. What was the Roblox death noise? Provides us a new album called Room Inside the World. And finally, close out the show, Everything is Recorded. And Everything is Recorded by Richard Russell. That's what we're going to close the show with. Really, I don't know. I was really excited for that album. I didn't know if it was going to turn out good, but
Me too.
I liked how it turned out. We're going to talk about it at the end of the show. So, you ready to talk about some Car Seat Headrest?
I truly am.
Car Seat Headrest is a rock band headed by frontman
Toledo.
Will Toledo. And of all my previous experiences with this group, whether it is the fantastic and utterly fucking catchy and brilliant Teens of Denial, or their compilation album of a bunch of various different projects, Teens of Style, which also had a bunch of teenage angst, but at the same time, a bunch of really catchy songwriting. And I think Will Toledo is really great at finding that line between catchy songwriting and great lyrics. You get a lot of his own personality throughout all tracks. There's a lot of humor throughout a lot of his projects, and you get a good sense he's a really unique character and a really, really great songwriter. And I can't emphasize that enough. I think he's literally one of the best songwriters of our generation, if not the best songwriter of our generation. And I think with tracks such as Drunk Drivers Killer Whales,
Ooh.
she's an unforgiving girl. Vincent, a thousand others that are not coming to my mind right now.
Dang.
But like, he's a fantastic songwriter. Cosmic Hero, to name another one that just randomly popped in my head. But I think he's a really brilliant songwriter. Can't emphasize that enough. And when it was announced that or no, last year when it was out of nowhere, randomly, he dropped Beach Life and Death, a reimagined slash reproduced version of a track off his 2011 album, Twin Fantasy, Mirror to Mirror, as it's being called now. I thought it was utterly brilliant. It's 13 minutes long, but I don't feel like it fits in its space. Like, it needed to be 13 minutes long, I feel like. And I know we're probably going to disagree on that later, but I feel like
we'll talk about
it fits. It perfectly blended together. All the three different parts blend together in this 13-minute space, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think you get a sense of his personality, a lot of the issues he was going through at the time when he wrote it, and just so many catchy parts of that track that just get engraved in your head. Some great production, some great songwriting, and I think a really brilliant little epic of a track, I would say. An epic in 3 parts. He followed that up with Nervous, Young, and Humans, the single edit, which I think is the better version after listening to the album. But Nervous, Young, and Humans, and he announced that there was going to be this re-release of Twin Fantasy called Twin Fantasy Face to Face. Twin Fantasy is a 2011 album of his, and recently listening to it, I think it had a lot of great elements, but it suffered from just too lo-fi production. Because you can obviously tell he made this when he was a teenager for broke cheap, for little to none money. And I think it suffers from that just because it is so lo-fi. It's kind of hard to latch onto. While there is some great and utterly fantastic songwriting, some catchy performances, his vocals aren't the nicest thing to listen to. A lot of the guitars and a lot of the instruments aren't the nicest thing to listen to. But I think it had potential. But now, under this new lens, I think the teenage angst is still there, but it's matched with this, I would like to say, adult mastering. And I think it kind of needed to be done. But the track Nervous, Young, and Humans, one of their catchiest songs. From everything from just like the weird part, the weird opener saying about Will Toledo talking about his cursive and how it's almost a metaphor for him improving as life goes on,
I liked it a lot.
To the synth slash, I can't make up my mind if it's a synth or guitar that's on the hook that is really, really just that's not how it goes, but I think it's utterly I think it's really catchy, it's really easy for that melody to get engraved into your head, and it sticks with you. And it did stick with me, and they followed it up with another single, Cute Thing, and it followed that pattern. Really catchy, really fun, really exciting. Reminded me a lot of Teens of Denial. And I think it was good that this album is getting this re-release, this reimagining, as it's called. Lyrics are being changed, production's being changed, but I think overall it is a very solid project. But like, I have some beef with this album at times. Like, I feel like this album, when it's not on point, it's fucking like in the moon. Like, it's not even like close.
What?
Like, if you're, it's like completely out of this fucking world. Like, it's not even like trying to be good. I feel like it's just completely off. Like, biggest example of this, I think Famous Prophets is just so fucking long for its own good. And I mentioned earlier how Beach Life and Death, it's 13 minutes long, but it stays this way. Famous Prophets is so fucking all over the place, but it's not, I would say, as ambitious and as exciting. I don't think the songwriting is consistent. Like, Beach Life and Death, while some of the production as the production changed on that track, the songwriting was very consistent throughout the entire thing, and it made references to some earlier lines in the song, so it felt like one piece. Famous Prophets doesn't feel like one piece. It feels like just a bunch of pieces kind of like mushed together in this one giant pile, and it's too long for its own good. Like, 16, it could have been like 4 minutes. I think 16 minutes was way, way too long. Nervous, Young, and Humans, I talked about that track and how I like the single edit, but the actual version on this album, the final version, the album version, contains this 2-minute rant from Will Toledo. like it sounds like some drunk teenager talking about philosophy, and like it would be fun if it was like kind of self-aware about it, but it isn't. It's just stupid, and it's a letdown. I feel. I think this album has really, really high points, but like those two low moments stick out with me so much because I think Famous Prophets had a lot of potential in parts of the song, in the many parts of the song, but like none of them fit together, and overall it just like is this constant dragging force. And Nervous Young and Humans, that 2 minute rant kind of like ruined the album for me a little bit, because I feel like it was just kind of like dead air. Those are like the two main moments I have with this problem. I feel like Will Toledo, and one final thing on the end of Twin Fantasy, with just kind of like, this is the end of the album.
I have depression.
Literally just giving us like this little pretentious little ending. And I just didn't care for it. It didn't ruin that track for me because there's stuff after that I really enjoyed, but like it is such like a cop-out ending. It didn't feel like a true ending. Like he rewrote the ending, the last track, Twin Fantasy, for a reason, and to add that little part in there just doesn't make it a real ending. You could just say it's an ending, but just because you said it was an ending doesn't make it an ending. And yeah, those are my major gripes with it. But what did you think about this album? Because I've been ranting on for a bit too long.
Okay, so I guess listening to Car Seat Headrest, I realized one thing, and that would be, and I told Vincent earlier, I like Car Seat Headrest, but I don't like that I like Car Seat Headrest. I hate that I like them. Are you eating cereal?
Yes. But I'm not going to eat into the mic because I'm not weird.
You're not ASMR enough.
Yeah.
I'm just going down the line, there were some really, really cool moments in here. I liked My Boy. I liked Nervous Young and Humans. Bodies. Extremely danceable track. I loved it. And this is the kind of thing these are the kind of high points that I enjoyed from Teens of Denial. Some of my favorite tracks, Drunk Driver, Killer Whales, which, contrary to Vincent, I enjoy the single version so much better.
I think it's like, I like both versions now.
I just like, there's so many more cool vocal things. It's dense, it's compact. I think that the lyrics, while not as sober or somber, they remind me of the delivery's not as somber, I should say. The lyrics are relatively the same. It just reminds me of almost the last track off of the White Album by Weezer, or like, this is what the Black Album could have been.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I vastly like that recording better, but that's neither here nor there. These are the moments that I enjoyed off of Teens of Denial, and these are the kind of cuts that I enjoyed off of Twin Fantasy. Let me preface the review by saying I think the reimagining of Twin Fantasy was absolutely genius. I read through kind of the press announcement, I guess. It said, and I quote, Will Toledo always knew he would return to Twin Fantasy. He never did complete the work. Not really. Never could square his grand ambitions against his mechanical limitations. Which I think is really cool that he would even take the time to come back to this album and kind of, it's almost like reading an old diary and feeling what you were feeling then and reflecting on it now and making it better. Making your grandiose life novel that you thought you were writing back in high school what it is now. What you think of it as a young adult out in the world. The titling of it, Face to Face, versus the old recording is now called Twin Fantasy Mirror to Mirror. It's like he was just a version of himself facing a version of himself, but now he's owning up to his own self face to face. I think that's just a really cool titling. I think it's really cool that he would even go back and look at this. But like Vincent, there are just some huge beefs I have with this album too. Tracks like Stop Smoking, We Love You, Sober to Death, High to Death. These are just...
You didn't like Sober to Death?
No, honestly, no, I didn't. These are just tracks that I thought were like dumb, I guess.
I like how it's like this... I think Sober to Death best explains like what Twin Fantasy is. Because it's about this relationship where two people are broken, or a relationship where someone with mental health and issues is kind of relying on someone else, And I think it best describes that. High to Death, I can see why it's kind of annoying, but I just kind of like it as just a little narrative piece. And I think those are two of the moments I actually really enjoyed throughout the entire project. I don't know. I think even like how they're titled, Sober to Death, High to Death, Twin Fantasy, kind of these two lingering parts. How the title at the beginning, My Boy, Twin Fantasy, in the end, Twin Fantasy, Those Boys. It's just like these little duality points, doubles, twins. I don't know. I think it's really cool in titling.
I mean, there are some really cool parts on this album. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think those are some of the low points. We talk about Beach Life and Death. As I've reflected on it, it's a long track, but I mean, it is an epic in 3 parts. I enjoyed that. Nervous Young and Humans, going back to like that little like drunk rant at the end, there are some times where I feel like Will Toledo is acting like something he's not, or searching for philosophy in something that doesn't have any. It almost brings to mind Aesop Rock's lyric on Hot Dog. I'm not searching to find meaning in something there is none. That's dumb. I probably butchered that line, but sometimes I just feel like he's pretending like he was way too edgy or way too pretentious or way too anything for like what he actually is.
He's pretending to be philosophical, but like I feel like part of him's trying to make this joke, but it's not like goofy enough to make a joke, because this humor does show up on this album in times. Like I really enjoyed the line, God, give me Frank Ocean's voice, give me James Brown's
that was redone. That was a lyric.
So it was like 2 other people before, but
no, I mean there are some really cool, deeper, I guess, where we see Will Toledo's true character. I feel like that's a really cool part of that, where you can see that. Cute Thing, I think, perfectly like explains how he feels. Not to mention it samples or contains elements of Anna Ing, which is by They Might Be Giants, written by.
I think
this should win a Lifetime Achievement Award, please.
That's why I wrote in my notes. I said, please give They Might Be Giants.
They need them. They're so influential. Anyway, I mean, the tracks like Cute Thing, or Nervous Young and Humans, where he's talking about his cursive writing and how it was really good when he was younger and how it's just kind of suffered throughout the years. That just gives like a really, I mean, albeit kind of minute look at Will Toledo's personality and what he is or who he is as a person, but they're still really cool because I know that they're truthful. You look at tracks like, and I've I guess kind of looked back on Teens of Denial a little bit and thought about this. I read an interview with Will Toledo not too long ago where he said that like he has only done drugs like once and he doesn't like getting drunk. Yeah, he's talking about on Teens of Denial how like he got drunk drivers killer whales. In all honesty, I feel like
killer whales. Joe goes to Joe gets kicked
out of school
because he does drugs or some shit.
He's talking about like how his drug usage is off the chart, or how he likes talking about doing drugs with people at parties and things. Well, I know the real Will Toledo doesn't go to parties. He doesn't do drugs. He's I mean, he has a line where he talks about how he came out when he was drunk. And then he changes the subject and says like he never came out to his friends.
No, I rereading that line a couple times. It's more of he's pretending to be drunk.
Or he pretended to be drunk, I guess. Yeah.
But like that.
And caught himself like in a lie. Or at the end of Nervous Young and Humans, this like drunk rant almost. Well, I know like the real Will Toledo wouldn't do this. This is a completely like sober, pretentious thought, like stream of thought given by Toledo.
That just is completely fucking boring.
Part of it bothers me. That's completely asinine.
Yeah, but like I wish honestly that part wasn't there, but I wish if there was something like that there, I wish it had the same humor as the little rap verse from I think it's their drummer. That's so funny. Andrew or something like that.
Andrew Kotz, yeah.
Something like that. But like he has this little rap verse where I forget how it goes, but it's completely fucking stupid. But I wish at least if there was going to be this 2-minute part at the end of Nervous Young and Humans, I wish it was a joke. Like, I wish from the beginning, this is a little pretentious fucking stupid joke. Instead of just like, let's talk about philosophy.
Have you met Jesus?
Do you
I
have
met Jesus.
Depression?
My toaster imprinted an image of Jesus on my piece of toast. I sold it on eBay for $9,000. Just stuff like that. Long story short, I want Will Toledo to be completely honest with us, because sometimes I feel like I see his personality, but even like whether it's true or whether it's not, I find myself questioning after almost every personal lyric that he gives, because I just want him to be honest. I know that sometimes he's lying, and I know that sometimes he's being truthful, but the way he delivers the lines have absolutely no difference, the rap verse being a bit of an exception. I just want him to give an actual, like, good narrative of himself. I think that Twin Fantasy is going to be the closest that we get to that, or has been the closest that we've gotten to that so far, because I think there's a lot of heart and soul that goes into this album. You can see it on almost every track, just how he felt at that time of, I believe he broke up with somebody.
Yeah.
This is like one of his first real relationships, and he was heartbroken over it, which I completely, like, you know, that's a very human emotion, and I think it's cool that he makes music about it, you know. It was cool that he decided to record this, because now we know how Will was feeling at the time. But also, just knowing that Will took his story as a tragedy and said, like, oh, you know, woe is me, I have nowhere to run to, I have no one to go to, I lost my only love, which I think might lead to some of these, like, untruthful moments, or, like, overly pretentious or edgy moments. My greatest, I guess, victory or sigh of relief here on this album is that Will no longer considers his story a tragedy, and I think that leads us to Face to Face rather than Mirror to Mirror. I've seen the evolution, but I want more. Yeah. I want more truthful Will Toledo.
I think you kind of explained it the best. I feel like he's not being completely honest. Like, Beach Life and Death, completely honest. You would have to admit that is, like, a very, very honest track.
Yeah, it's
Nervous Young and Humans, completely honest. Cute Thing, maybe not super honest, but super fun and super exciting.
Yeah.
But, like, all the other moments, or at least, like, Famous Prophets, not really being that truthful. The long rant.
It's very philosophical.
The long rant at Nervous Young and Humans, where he's just trying to be something he's not. It's not truthful whatsoever. Those moments just kind of took breath out of me, and it made me, like, not like this album as much as I should have. And I don't know. I think this album's a letdown in parts, but in other parts, it's fucking fantastic. Cute Thing is, like, a goddamn amazing track. I think it's utterly brilliant. Nervous Young and Humans as a single edit is really, really great. I think Sober to Death and High to Death, in my personal opinion, are two really, really great narrative pieces. One about relationships, the other about kind of just being in the state. Even though it's not the most honest that Will Toledo has been, I think the songwriting holds up. So overall, I just don't know whether to think about it. I do think this album's good, but, like, I've just been kind of debating in my head the last couple of days what score I should give, because I think the moments that hold it back, I think, are just so fucking pretentious. I think they're just almost too pretentious for good. So
I'm talking like Father John Misty pretentious.
Father John Misty.
I like Father John Misty. I just didn't like pure comedy. I'll say that again and again.
But yeah, like, I don't know. I think there's fantastic moments on this. In the end, I was gonna give this a 9. I'm not. I think those moments hold it back too much. But I'm gonna give it an 8.75. I do like this project a lot. It's not anywhere near Twin Fantasy, Teens of Denial, because this is brilliant. But, like, I think it can get there, and I hope this is not all the Car Seat Headrest we hear this year. I hope there's something else in the canon, because this was, like, re-recorded in 2016.
Here's a question for you.
What?
Would you want another re-recording of an album?
No.
Okay.
This is, like, I want new material. I want to know why, where it was coming, if you want it, that was a single. I hope it has something to do with their next album. I hope that wasn't just, like, a loose single. I hope it had some purpose. Because I thought that's what we're going to get. But then, I don't know where Beach Life and Death came. So.
I would like to make an edgy album like this. Thank you. Overall, I'm going to have to give Twin Fantasy Face to Face an 8 out of 10. Because I did end up enjoying it, and I hated that I enjoyed it. But I did. And I don't know. Part of me wishes I could mash up Teens in Denial Teens of Denial and Twin Fantasy, because I think that you would get like a really cool if you split it in two albums. I think there would be like a really pretentious side, and I think there would be like a really just fun, interesting side, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I think this Teens of Denial is just I don't know. I think it's good on its own. I don't want anything. It's just a very solid to the point project. But yeah, I like this. I had problems with it, but I did like it in the end. I hope we'll continue. Will Toledo keeps on going down this route, but being more honest, being more open, and stop trying to be edgy, drunk kid who's pretentious and
Pretending to be drunk.
Pretending to be a philosopher, and that's all you need.
Thank you. They might be giants.
Give them an award.
Please.
Okay, you ready to answer a question?
Yeah.
Okay, this is from your boy, Alex Marco. Who do you guys think is the most influential rapper of all time?
Oh, jeez.
That's a hard question.
That's a really hard
Right now,
question.
the most influential rapper, Kendrick Lamar, hands down.
Oh, yeah.
But
okay.
like all time, that's honestly a really hard question, because I think there's like a couple people that can be in there. Like I think Eminem can even be in there. Not now, not current Eminem.
If you had to pick
but,
your
like,
top 5,
just favorites or top 5 most influential.
top 5 who you think changed rap forever.
Do we have to like all their music, or do we?
No.
No. Okay, so I think Kendrick's doing it now. I think Eminem, as I mentioned before. I think MF Doom's on there. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I want to say NWA, but I don't think they're... Maybe Dre, but I don't think... Dre more as a producer, so I don't know. Biggie, probably. Maybe Tupac, but I don't know. I don't think Biggie or Tupac... While they were influential, I don't think they were in the running to be the most, because their lives were ended shorter.
I think that they could be. I say, okay, I want to mash Biggie and Tupac into one person. So Big Pac. Because of a couple of reasons. One, they both secured hip-hop in the
Their
areas that they
realms,
lived in. Obviously, you've got this East Coast, New York style hip hop that was secured by Biggie, and you've got this like West Coast California hip hop secured by Pac. But also, like you just mentioned, their lives were ended short. So not that it didn't give us the music that we deserved and the credentials to be influential. But I think that it almost added to the legend of them, that every rapper wanted to be like them. Mm-hmm. Not in the sense that they were dead, but in the sense that they created so much, dare I say, influential or just really legendary music in their short span of existence.
Yeah.
And so I think like that really just brought on the dream for a ton of rappers.
How could we miss this one? This one was like right center.
Is it Yeezus?
Yeah.
Kanye, I would put on the list for sure, because as we talked about a couple episodes ago in our talk about graduation, Kanye completely changed the face of hip hop forever when he beat 50 Cent.
Honestly, I think it's Kanye. It's got to be Kanye. At least especially now.
Yeah, I would also and then I would have to agree with Eminem, because I think that he kind of opened the doors for a lot of. I don't want to say underground, but almost I would call Eminem underground when he first came out. Because like he was doing something completely different from the norm, and he gained a lot of followers that way. And I'm not saying in the realm of like, I love MF Doom. He's one of my favorites of all time. Yeah, but like I wouldn't consider him one of the most influential.
I would say for the underground, yes. Hell yeah.
For the underground, yeah. But as far as mainstream rap goes, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I think that Eminem was doing kind of underground rap before that. Obviously, he broke the mainstream, and for better or for worse. And Kendrick for right now, because I think he's bringing like a lot of really cool artists and a lot of really cool takes to the table here.
Yeah. Just
So,
look what he did on Black Panther, bringing everyone.
yeah,
Like
for sure.
Like Yugen Black. Like I had no idea who the fuck that was like a few weeks ago. So
That's our 5.
Yep. Okay, ready to go to Rock Island?
I want to go.
I want to Rock Island.
I'm a goofy goober. Okay. Palm is an American rock band. They're most known for their abrupt, like, time signature changes, weird song structures, basically just like math rock.
Yeah.
And Rock Island is their
quick.
fifth
What's 2 + 2? That's what math rock
Rock
is.
Island.
That's what math rock is. Someone quizzes you off the stage. They have those time cards.
They play their guitars with flashcards. They don't play with picks. Rock Island is their 5th studio album.
Yeah, Rock Island is Palm Giamatti's 5th studio album. I just thought of that. That should have been the episode title. Yeah. Palm Giamatti, you don't like that?
No.
Okay, you don't like my puns?
No.
I'll find someone who
Some of them were
respects me.
good. I also want to point out Rock Island is the name of a Jethro Tull album, so break out your flutes, boys. We're going to Rock Island.
They lost me flute. Now I must go to Rock Island to find me flute. Okay, what were we talking about? We went on a tangent there.
Rock Island.
Yeah, we're going to the Rock Island. This was suggested by your boy Alex Marco, and he found it on the Indie Heads Reddit. They've been around for a while, but I wasn't personally aware of them. You weren't personally aware of them, and he suggested this record, and I was just like, this seems really fucking weird. I don't know. But listening to it as like a lot recently, I think at first I thought it was like, okay, this is okay. I like this. It's weird, but like I don't feel like there's more depth to it. But as I listened to it, the more I liked it. I feel like this is one of those albums that just kind of when I listen to it, I'm just kind of like in a different world. I kind of lose track of time. I feel like last year, Kamasi Washington's Harmony of Difference EP and Igloo Ghost, Neo Wax Bloom, both were like 2 projects that like I had that thing with, and I'm not to say this is as poignant as those 2 projects, but I think it has that ability to take you to another place. I think the time signatures are so strange, just like any other math rock, but I feel like they're almost addictive in a sense, and they make a weird visual of this Rock Island. Not to say that there's ideas being said here like there was on Igloo Ghost of like a deeper narrative, but I think you do get visuals of some type of island, especially on various tracks on the album, just like these almost islandy like chords, I would say, just because of these time progressions. It just seems super strange, and I honestly do really like this project because it's really addicting. And yeah, but what did you think of it?
I think like you, like I at first just thought it was super weird, but as I listened through it, I guess it really grew on me. I'm a sucker for like weird musical things, as Vincent knows. Part of the reason I love like JPEG Mafia, part of the reason I really liked the Avalanches is because I love.
You're forgetting one. Electric Feel.
Electric Feel is in 6. It's in 6/4 time and then goes to 4/4 time. Count it out next time you listen to this magnum opus. I love Electric Feel.
Literally, anytime you bring it up, you have to scream it.
It's true. It's just like that track alone. I love because it's in like weird time signature. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rock Island is just chock full of that. Palm uses this. To its like fullest potential here. They like tune their guitars and you know tighten those strings up until they sound like steel drums. They're like the most twangy sounding things I have ever heard. I seriously thought it was like a steel drum patch on a synth when I first listened to it, and then realized that it was guitars.
Yeah.
They are like they went all out for this. I'm talking like Soulja Boy style steel drums here. But what?
I'm just imagining, like, you know, the origin story of how like steel drums were made. They're made of like oil canisters. And, like,
Yeah.
But like I'm imagining like Soulja Boy like finding a steel drum or finding an oil canister and turning it into a steel drum.
I bet he did. No, Soulja Boy probably like didn't find a barrel washed up on the beach. You probably found the full steel drum. It's like, hey, I can use this. Uh, anyway, I honestly think, like, for this review, NPR described them, and I think they described them best in saying that this, like, Palm and this album demands and rewards your full attention, and saying that you absolutely have to. This is not like a passive listen, or else you'll think you're just listening to a bunch of people throwing their instruments around a room,
Yeah.
or like down the stairs or something.
I think you need like the first like woke listen. I don't know what I'm calling that, but you need to be like paying attention or like actively participating with it. After that, you get into the realm of like you could just listen to it.
Yeah, you have to engage yourself and realize this is not a normal rock song. This is not a normal rock album.
Yeah, because it's a rock island album.
It's a rock island. Best tracks, in my opinion, I'm thinking of Composite. I'm thinking of Dog Milk. Really catchy cadences. What?
Just Dog Milk. Just the name of that.
It's
and just
weird.
going into the visual, like some of the visuals they depict on the track is just, we'll get into later, but it's just fucking strange.
But like these tracks have just like really cool sounding cadences, really catchy melodies that'll get stuck in your head. Really just like, I still remember for Composite, they're like over and over. It doesn't fit into anything.
Yeah.
Dog Milk's melody, like it just doesn't fit, you know?
Yeah, and then Color Code and Swimmer, two of my favorite tracks on the album. Literally, they sound like they're straight from like some N64 game.
They do.
It's great, but like it's like Composite and Dog Milk are pretty similar, but like Color Code and Swimmer later on in the album, I think what makes it so special is they're so different from all the other tracks.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know. I think this album is just so, like, it's just a nice listen. It's very strange, very out there, very colorful, very fun. You do get visuals of, like, some type of album, some type of metallic.
I almost think of like
drum.
Plastic Beach.
Yeah.
Except for it's made of metal.
Yeah.
Not plastic.
Yeah.
Almost like a metal beach.
So, I like the consistent island metronomic, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Rhythm of every piece. Every piece has this specialized rhythm. It's really easy to get lost, as I mentioned before, and just, I don't know. I think one of the things I also really enjoy is they keep bringing up this line, especially in the second half, of being blinded by sunlight. This kind of like forced belief, metaphor, or various lines that they keep on bringing this up with. I don't know. I just like that visual. I think kind of being blinded almost by this like very addictive, very blinding light. I don't know. I think the music kind of describes what that kind of feels like, this kind of forced belief. I don't know. I just find it really strange. But like, again, what do I have complaints with this album? Eve Albert is a talented singer with a very faint voice, but her vocals aren't high enough, and sometimes you can't make out what it says. It's not that you can't hear her, it's just that she's not eligible. You can't make out what she says.
Eligible?
Like, you can't make out the words that she says. Gotcha. Like, there's points where, like, I hear her, I know she's there, I just can't hear what she's saying. Like, I just hear mumbles. I think her performance is good, but it's just not loud enough. I don't think it's mixed properly. It uses some of the same riffs over again, but like as time goes on, I really don't think that's a major problem with it.
No.
I think I had that problem with Composite and Dog Milk because I think they do sound pretty similar, but like as time goes on, I think those are two of like the best tracks on the album. But I think for the most part, they do a good job of mixing everything up. I think especially with Bread and Color Code and Swimmer, I think those are two nice moments that kind of mix everything up. And the last few tracks, I feel like should have been like the weirdest ensembles of things ever sorted, but in actuality, it's actually kind of the blandest part of the album, and it should have been cut. There's no new ideas or concepts. It's just kind of there. I think didn't what you want happen is just weak. Forced Hand, Heavy Lifting, or just
I liked Forced Hand quite a bit actually. It reminded me of almost like I guess I kind of see like the forced hand kind of metaphor in saying that like there is a riff that happens the entire song, whether it fits into the time signature or not. It just constantly drones on this same little tiny melody. I don't know. It sounds really cool. Like that was the forced, I guess, the forced hand. That was the forced play, I guess.
Yeah. But like overall, what like I think my favorite track on this honestly has to be Dog Milk, and I mentioned some of the strangest videos. First off, the guitars kind of sound the same, it's positive, but like I think as it goes on, it separates itself through the entire track. But like the line, I got so full I forgot we're edible, and like what I interpret this as is, as time goes on, it's like you with people, you kind of get sick of them, and you spend so much time with someone else, you just kind of get annoyed by them, or you kind of get full of them. You just want no more. You just want to be done. And I just thought that was really cool. I really like the line. I'm at a loss to explain the way I laugh until milk comes out of my nose every time I wake up by your side. Unhelpful example, swallow your cannibal. Like, I have no idea what that means, but I also don't know. Time to kill, and when you laughed until milk came out of the dog. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what that means. No but more. I absolutely love it. I love like the weird visual of everything they're depicting on this track. I like the metaphor of how people are almost edible. You get enough of them at a certain point. I don't know. I just think it's absolutely strange, and yeah, like I think this album has some like really weird songwriting to it at times, and I think it actually works in its benefit. On the track Bread, this is where a lot of the I don't know, being blinded by sunlight, being taught this one particular way, being taught to believe in something, teaching the children to mean what they're told, with their mouths burning 2 words, they're too wise to be old, summon fear into things they can't see but believe, and we don't even give the chance to agree. So just forcing children to your ideology, forcing them to see what you see, forcing them to believe in what you would believe in. And yeah, I think, I don't know, the track kind of has this like great layered anxieties, as I call them, gorging on what those have said I've said, or no, gorging on what those have said have said. So like people, it's just a really layered statement, saying people not talking about you, but people talking about what you have said, or overwhelmed by thoughts that keeping me up. It's just weird. It's weird. It has this layer to it. Just like it's all over the place. Swimmer kind of relates to this in the same way, because I only believe what I can see, so I've been training me to sleep with the lights on, kind of stay woke. That's the only thing I can kind of refer to, but like not believing what others tell you, believing only what you see, believing in the rock island. Believing in the rock island. Don't look down there, bend your eyes till all you can see is the sunshine, making metaphor to this kind of like forced belief that keeps on popping up. But like I really enjoy it. Again, some tracks I really don't care for. Heavy Lifting. Again, her vocals are just kind of flat. Songwriting's kind of bland. It's kind of similar to some other tracks. I don't know. And then I think Didn't What You Want Happen. It's just a lame note to go out on. I think it's not really too original. It's already kind of cover topic, and then there's nothing exciting around it. But I do want to make a quick mention to 20664. I don't know what the fuck that was, but yes. It's just so straight. It's just okay. It's literally this like 1 minute little piece, and it has synths and a drum loop constantly repeating. It's a fun little interlude. That's what I consider it as, but it's nothing weird. More than that. It's just a fun, strange little thing that I think should have been more of what the final track should have been like. Just something completely bonkers, nonsensical. But overall, I actually really enjoyed this album. I liked it a lot, and I will keep on listening to it because I think it's really catchy, really fun. Again, favorite tracks: Pearly, Composite, Dog Milk, Bread, Color Code, Swimmer. Again, my personal favorite's Dog Milk. It's just so fucking strange. The milk the dog.
Milk your dog.
Don't forget to milk your dog, kids. And then least favorite, Didn't What You Want Happen. I just think it's a lame note to go out on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this album. Overall, I'm feeling. I think this is an 8.1 out of 10. Liked it a lot. I want to continue listening to it. And yeah, I'm excited for more music from Palm. What did you think?
I'd like to. I mean, I'm looking forward to what Palm puts out, but I'm also looking forward to maybe diving into the back catalog a little bit, just because I want to see what new ground did Rock Island break, coming from newfound fans that haven't listened to anything besides their latest album. I kind of want to see what else they've put out and how Rock Island stands against it.
Yeah, I want to see if they milked their dog in previous albums.
Yeah, me too. What if there was a song called Dog Milk in every single album?
And literally what it is it's just it's like a 10-minute track, and all you hear is just a dog barking in pain because they're milking it.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, oh.
Final thoughts. You gotta give it a score.
I didn't give it a score?
You didn't give it a score.
Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to
That's
give...
what people watch the end of the reviews for.
I'm going to have to give Rock Island a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Okay, you ready to answer another question?
Let's do it.
Okay, let me find it. I gotta scroll down. This comes from our buddy Maxwell Patton, or as I like to call him, Maxwell Paxwell. What album has made you laugh the most? Either unintentionally or unintentionally or intentionally. I don't know. I said that weird. I'm trying to think. I've been trying to think of this for a while.
Pom Pom made me laugh quite a bit.
I think Pom Pom
But
was
I think
strange.
Pom Pom is just more uncomfortable than
But
anything.
like Pom Pom didn't make me laugh.
It's just
It's just
weird.
strange. I just think it's like odd. Like I'm just trying to think of like what physically made me laugh. Like not like
The Bob's Burgers musical album. For sure.
lifting up the skirt of the night.
It's so funny.
That song gets stuck in my head.
It's so dumb, and it's music from the show, but it's so funny. I love Bob's Burgers.
I don't think that album. I haven't listened to the full thing of that. I've just listened to like what's either on the show or lifting up the skirt of the night. But trying to think of like an album, because like there's like even albums that we've listened to in the past year that's had like humor side to them, like Kieran J. Callanan, Bravado. That didn't. I thought moments of it were fucking strange and goofy,
funny.
but like it didn't make me laugh. The music video made me laugh because it was just like
That's Racist makes me laugh.
but like I don't know if there's like a consistent album that made me laugh by them. There's tracks.
Relax, I think. I mean, there's no album that has consistently made me it put me in stitches the entire time. But there are some tracks on some albums that have multiple tracks that make me laugh. Like I think that Das Racist's Relax, I think is really funny at points. Yeah, would you agree? Especially like Rainbow in the Dark being like a shining moment. That track is so weird, but it's so funny. It's got so many like hilarious lines. For those of you who didn't know, my Twitter bio is from that song.
Like the opening where they're talking about White Castle. I'm in the White Castle.
I don't see you. It's just a guy having a conversation with somebody else.
On that track on the album with LP on it, where I think it's Heems saying, "You probably mad." I think it's like Robin Williams or something like that. Miss Doubtfire, you probably a drag.
Yeah.
It's just like super goofy, super stupid. You don't take it too seriously. I would have to say. I don't know. I think the song that's made me laugh the most probably is Rainbow in the Dark. I would have to say. Or that or Pizza Hut Taco Bell combination.
See, so many. They have like a lot of really funny songs.
Yeah.
Not specifically from the same album.
But yeah.
That's probably the artist that's made me laugh the most.
I don't know.
Unintentionally is Lil Pump.
Yeah, reading through
Just
the
because
lyrics,
it's
reviewing that
it's
album.
dumb, it's horrible, but
Oh
it's
my gosh.
funny and goofy and good.
King's Dead.
King's Dead made me laugh
Just as a track.
as a track with Future's vocals.
Future's vocals? I don't know. I would even say J-Rock's parts.
J-Rock's
just
kind of funny.
Funny. Except for the end where Kendrick brings it in, he's just like, I'm gonna be serious. It's just like,
Come
it's
on.
good,
Boo.
but it's good.
Thanks,
but
Mom.
It's good, but it's not la-di-da-di-da. But yeah, those are some examples. I don't think there's like an album that's made me laugh the most that isn't just like a comedy record or like a straight, you know what I mean? Not like stand-up comedy record. It's just a straight music record.
But definitely check those out.
Tenacious D's album.
That
They're
was kinda
self-titled.
funny, yeah.
But yeah.
Shaggy makes me laugh sometimes.
That's unintentionally.
I like Shaggy, so.
Okay, you ready to get the fuck oot?
Yeah.
Oot.
Alright, so Ought Out Oot is a Canadian post-punk band from Montreal. Basically, they all like lived together and created an album, which I just think that's so funny. When people live together and like Brockhampton
yeah.
all lives together. Blink-182 I think lived together for a while. Don't quote me on that.
Tom will wake him up at like 3 a.m. He's like, we gotta go look for aliens.
But they have 3 studio albums. Their latest one being the Room Inside the World.
And I didn't know much about Oot. I'm gonna keep on calling them that. That's not how you say it, but I like. Didn't know much about them before hearing their track "Disgrace in America." But as time grew on, I didn't care for that track at first, but it's like grown on me a lot. I think just the moaniness of that track is just what I like about it the most. Honestly, that's what I like about this album the most. I honestly, it reminds me of like a happy King Cruel.
He can't be happy.
That took his antidepressants and is just really happy and really satisfied with life. Tim Darcy, the front man. I think, again, happy King Cruel, or if King Cruel had a son with Jeff Rosenstock that was really passionate but really moany. I think that's what it is.
I
But
don't like that.
Tim Darcy is... Actually, I really like his performance throughout this entire album. I really like the moaniness. I really like the passionate moaniness that comes across this album. At first, on Disgraced in America, did not care for it, but I think it's almost like a Jeff Rosenstock thing, whereas the more I listened to it, honestly, it grew on me, and I was able to appreciate how passionate it was. I was able to appreciate how moany it was, but not how, like, almost uneffortlessly moany it was. It wasn't like just moany for the sake of being moany. It was moany as, I don't know, as a very passionate way of songwriting or singing. It was a very passionate performance. But yeah, I think Tim Darcy gives good lyrics, good vocals throughout the entire project. I honestly really enjoy this. I think this is a pretty solid album, and I don't know, I think it's very consistent. At times I get like an 80s vibe, not to say like MGMT, Little Dark Age 80s vibe, but almost like, I want to say like Joy Division in a sense. It's not Joy Division, but that's like something close I can compare it to in a sense. It's what it makes me feel.
Yeah.
You get it, like I get the feeling of Joy Division. It's not particularly sound.
Me too.
But what did you like about this record?
What did I like about it?
Did you like this record?
It was okay. So it's okay, and it puts me in a weird place because, obviously on the No Age review, both of us just kind of thought that the album was boring.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of generic, indie rock, punk music, I guess. Yeah. I felt kind of the same way with Room Inside the World. I just thought that it was kind of boring. It treaded some pretty basic ground. It didn't do a whole lot for me musically or vocals-wise. And really, I think you kind of summed it up really well when you said that it has kind of a twinge of Joy Division in there. They were obviously like very inspired by Joy Division. I feel like blasphemous in the music world and the music reviewing world in saying that I don't particularly like Joy Division.
You don't like Joy Division?
I don't really like Joy Division. They reminded me of the Smiths. I don't really like the Smiths. Like, I feel like
it's
I
okay
am.
not to like the Smiths.
I feel like I am like peeing on Anthony Fantano's grave.
Why?
Because like these are like essential bands that you should like if you're a reviewer and be like, this is the greatest music ever created. But like when you think about like that kind of like 80s 90s, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was like there's like three different categories you can fall in. There's like the hair metal, like do you like AC/DC, do you like Foreigner, do you like Def Leppard? There's the second category, which is like, do you like Talking Heads, Depeche Mode? That's me. I like these two. I like these two categories, but I do not like like Joy Division. I don't fall into that category, and this is the kind of music that Ott is making right now, and I am just not a
Saying
huge
their name
fan.
wrong.
Oot. I don't like Oot that much. I don't like the kind of music that they're coming out with because it is so obviously like inspired by that. Not saying it's bad music, because like I don't think Joy Division is bad. I don't think that the Smiths are bad, and I don't think that Oot is bad. But it's just not for me.
I don't know. I really like this track, this album. I think it has really good songwriting. Just to start out, Into the Sea. First time I getting to this album, I just had to stop. I didn't care for it, but like really listening to it the second time, it gave me this vibe of almost like being lost in this crowd of people, this almost sea of people, just being completely overwhelmed by everyone around you, just their presence being there, having no idea where you are, having no idea who you are in this giant sea of people. I just like the opening. Feel the stain in the people now. Deep dark gray fades into blue. Nothing doing how sad, who knew. Deep blue turns into gray, and nothing turning seems to stay. Just these various fades, these various changes of emotions. Fleeting, wanting, holding. I can't be there in my way again. Well, you see, in a way, it's a feeling like falling. It's lonely, and I can't see the floor through my feet again. Seem okay, feel okay, see the stain in the people now. Just kind of this overwhelming anxiousness in this crowd of people. I just really like how that track makes me feel. I think it's just a very relatable feeling. I think the guitars and the bells at the end of the track are absolutely fantastic. Going into Disgrace in America, Tim Darcy's voice, I think, is what makes that track so good. Super moany, super passionate. It's like something I feel like you have to adjust to, but it is really distinctive. I just like the hook on it. Birds fly around while the dividends pay. Birds fly around while I'm picking my chains. Democration, see those lines changing, just constant like changing pattern. I don't know. I just find it really cool. Disaffection, which I really like because it's he's almost talking about feeling and being able to feel something, even though it's kind of like hateful or angry. Being able to defy authority or be mad at authority, but it allows you to feel something. In the end, that's why he likes it so much. That's why he's almost in love with this emotion, because he's able to feel something, at least something that isn't like emptiness or sadness. It is this anger, but it's not healthy, but I would say it is a feeling that he's allowed to feel, and I think it's just utterly great. These three things I think is probably the most Joy Division-esque I think this album gets, but just the catchy line of "Will I hear my sword," and like going through the album, hear the words screaming, listen your name, makes it seem like nothing could hear you. Just like being completely like lost, like denying your feelings, kind of like talking. It's more about, can I find my soul, or can I hear my soul? Being kind of able to listen to your heart, living with the burdens of love, kind of allowing to being more in control of your emotions and not having your emotions control you, in a sense. Being able to feel things but not let them utterly have complete control of you. Being able to control your emotions. And Desire, I just like just going over this kind of like a broken relationship And it's weird. I don't think like breakup songs have feel like this before, but just kind of like this loss of passion more than everything else. Not like just like a fight or something like that, or just this like this angry like he cheated on me or anything like that. No, it's more of just like you don't click anymore. It's just there's not a spark. You lost this spark, and it kind of brought. But like those are some utterly brilliant moments. Brief Sheed, where I just like the line, "Be my knight, I'll be your lady, waiting, hold my hand, and I'll be there some way." Just wanting someone to have your back, wanting someone to almost cater to you, or not cater to you, but condole you or console you, having someone to like wanting to like wanting to help you out. And I think that's just really nice in a relationship. And there's like a couple other brilliant moments on here, but like I think the end of the album is kind of like the weakest. I think Pieces Wasted, Alice are pretty weak, but like Alice is okay in all honesty, but I just think it's not grand enough. Like it builds up this like grand ending. You think you're gonna get this giant climactic thing, and it just ends. I just found it kind of weak.
It's kind of weak, yeah.
I do like the vocal performances on it, though. I don't know. I just think it's super catchy, but it just loses me in the second half because it just doesn't build up into anything. But again, I think the production on this is great. I think the songwriting is great. I think Tim Darcy's voice is great. I like his performance, and personally, I really like this album. And I know you may have something else to say about it, but like that's what I personally feel about this. What do you think?
I mean, I kind of treaded over a little bit of what I thought. I don't think that the vocals are bad. I don't think the instrumentation is bad. I just think that sometimes it's just not for me. The reason I don't like Joy Division, or the reason I don't like the Smiths, is because sometimes I think that they're too moany. Part of the reason I didn't really like King Cruel.
King Cruel is just pretentious.
He's overly moany. And then two,
have depression, and I need to brush my teeth and pack my lunch for school tomorrow and feed my fish. That's the ooze in 30 seconds. That's all you need to know.
But I just found it boring.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just find Joy Division and the Smiths boring. I find New Order boring. I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel about it, and I'm not sure if that kind of music will ever grow on me. I've tried time and time again, but I just don't think that is for me. I feel completely neutral about it.
Yeah, but in the end, I really like this album. Really like Tim Darcy's vocals. Really like songwriting. Really like production. I think everything flows well. Even though the ending, I feel like the last couple tracks, well, the songwriting isn't great. I think overall, it's just the last few tracks are just kind of meh. It's like could be better, but like honestly, I think the album was long enough. It could have just been cut. Just ending with Darcy, I think that would have just been completely fine. But yeah, I think this album's great. Overall, I think this is an 8.8 out of 10. I really liked it. And yeah,
Dang.
Yeah, no, I really like this album. I think it's good. And I want to hear more in the future.
I, on the other hand, don't stop making music, fellas, but it's just not for me. I'm going to have to give it I'll probably have to give it a 6. It's on the same level as No Age. For me, at least.
Okay, that's it for.
Sorry.
Oot. I'm sorry. We're out of pepper. Oh no! Wait. Why did I say that weird? I'm sorry. We're out of pepperoni. Oot. Okay, you ready to get into a new segment?
Let's do it.
New, clean, new, fresh smelling segment. You ready? Ready for this new segment?
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is a new segment we're introducing, and it's called Our Favorite Songs of All Time, or whatever. I don't know. We don't have a name for this segment.
Honestly, they're just songs that we are enjoying right now, or songs that we just love.
Everything from like childhood favorites to like current hits. We'll be talking this week. It's more of just like stuff I've liked over the course of my entire life, but yeah. No current hits for this segment, but every month we're going to try to do this, and if past Vincent was cool, he would have already posted the Spotify playlist to Facebook and stuff, so you guys may have already heard these tracks, but we just want to explain them. But yeah, these are tracks we really enjoy, because I don't feel like we get enough to talk about just like individual songs, just like songs we like.
That's hard. That's why I love when you guys ask questions, because then I have a chance to talk about like Das Racist, or a chance to talk about the Bob's Burgers album, or a chance to talk about like Biggie and Tupac.
Yeah, just like random stuff, and I feel like this segment gives us more of that. So we're gonna try to have this monthly, and I think it may be a good idea, because I don't know, I haven't pitched this to you yet, but kind of doing some couple of classic reviews, but like classic mini reviews, in the sense of we can talk about stuff, because like, and not have a full segment devoted to it, because sometimes it's just like you don't have to say. I feel like
sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, like when we're talking about AT Aliens and Graduation, I feel like it was more about the impact that they had and not really about the album. And
it's hard to talk about things that you like sometimes.
Yeah, just because there's just so much of it, and it's just nice to listen to it, and it's nice to like say what you like about it, but like not really go into over detail like you have to do for an actual review. But yeah, so this week we got 3 tracks, 6 tracks in total, 3 each, and yeah, to start off, this is yours, but I also really do like this track as well. Injury Reserve, S on Your Chest, from their album their mixtape Floss. Album mixtape.
It is the debut album.
No, is it their debut album?
Yes, debut album.
Second project.
Second project. Because Live from the Dentist Office is a mixtape.
Okay.
S on Your Chest. I mean, okay, so Floss came out at a time when I was not super keen to the underground. I was huge fan of MF Doom, have been for a while. But I didn't know exactly what was going on in the underground at the time, which is a shame because some of my favorite artists now come out of the underground. But Floss came out at a time where I just wasn't super keen to what was going on. I got word that it was out. I went and listened to it because the album art looked funny.
We were talking about it, and I really liked it, and I think I kind of forced you to listen to it.
You sent me the link. I was playing Uncharted 2. I just started Uncharted 2, but I ended up just absolutely adoring this album. It's a shame that it didn't make it on my year-end list for 2016. It should have. A huge regret of mine, because it probably would have ranked pretty high at the top.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd listened to it by then.
Yeah. Especially how we listen to music back then. It was because we live avidly now, but we have like a purpose to avidly be reckless about listening to music.
Yeah.
But like back then, it was more of like touch and go.
Yeah. But now we're constantly listening.
Yeah.
S on Your Chest. I mean, there's so many great tracks on here. Oh shit! With 5 exclamation points. All This Money. What's Good? I just love some of these tracks. Keep on Slipping. Look, Mama, I Did It. These are
personally
all
underrated.
Great.
2016 interlude.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
These are great. These are great tracks. But S on Your Chest seriously stood out to me. You listen to that saxophone sample. It's smooth. It's catchy. It's not quite jazzy, but it's not quite orchestral or like marching band. It's just super smooth, like it was made specifically for this sample. I just imagine floating through time in this like New York neighborhood. I don't have any other way to explain how I feel when I hear this sample.
That's a visual impression it gives you.
I'm thinking it's snowing, like just blistering cold outside.
But like, I don't think that's the key characteristic.
No, absolutely not.
The key characteristic of the track is that Richie and the T is literally having a conversation with himself. Not really, but he's literally talking over himself. There's 2 verses going on, one in your left ear, one in your right ear. It's like mixed like perfectly. Like
he talks to himself in the middle of the track. I don't know what's going on. It's like tons of words flying at you. The verses are, in all honesty, I think they're really funny.
Yeah.
I mean, specifically lines like, what do you know about a young neighbor like this? I did the second one for the white kids because I know you want to say it, but that ain't right, kid. Just So, I mean, just really like funny stuff coming out of here.
I like the opening
Richie's talking about how he has to work at Foot Locker.
I like the opening line. Vic said, "Bring the blue collar back." How I'm supposed to bring the blue collar back? Like, it's just like that's a great
just
opening
lots
line.
of like really cool stuff. Like,
And then
they came to show up on SNHS. They absolutely like there are tracks like All This Money where they're talking about like going to H&M and buying shirts. Look, Mama, I Did It is clearly like, look, I made this album. I'm finally successful. But SNHS is really just a time for them to bring out their lyrical razor blades, if you will. They came to cut up, and they are absolutely fantastic at it.
I think honestly the best part about it, personally, say mama, I don't even know what he says. He just says it really quickly.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. And he
not
ends
to mention
every
the
line
ending
with,
is absolutely ridiculous.
Ending of each line, yeah. Keeps on
pitches
rhyming.
his vocals up really far. When I first heard this track, I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But dang, this grew on me a ton. I love this track.
Absolutely fantastic.
It's still something I listen to quite often.
Yeah, just like the sample alone is unbelievable. Okay, so the next one, J Live, Them That's Not. I just recently heard this because I would listen to your tracks, but I really have no idea who J Live is. I know you talked about him before.
Okay,
like,
so
yeah.
J Live is, and I'll kind of give you like a
brief history.
Just kind of a brief history. J Live is essentially a teacher / underground rapper who kind of came onto the scene by himself, made this kind of debut album by himself, production by DJ Premier, Pete Rock, Prince Paul. That's what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he had mixtapes first, and he tried so hard to kind of just peddle this mixtape around, backpack rap at its finest, in all honesty. But like I said, like he was a teacher at the time, just trying to get people interested in his music so he could go on to make music. Not to say he didn't love being a teacher, but that's like he wanted to be a rapper.
Yeah.
Finally his mixtape got around enough to where, like by word of mouth, by like I said, like backpack pedaling, that he was able to make the best part. Like I said, DJ Premier, Pete Rock, Prince Paul, all on production here to make his debut album. And in all honesty, I think he's got a lot to say just about his life, about being one of the first like underground rappers. I'm just like weird stuff. There were like bootlegs and like these are like super high quality bootlegs. Like some people thought that J Live was like behind the bootlegs just to drum up interest in his own album. This is how much like this thing meant to him. He was trying so hard to get this out. But when you go out and listen to it, there's a lot of I can see where a lot of like rappers like Mega Ran or Samus were influenced by this. Them That's Not is personally my favorite track off of the album. It's longer. It starts out with just kind of a very simple jazzy sample, and he starts out rapping really slow.
Yeah, and then he
builds like a train, like building steam, talking about like telling a story about Castro, just like constantly like building off of what he says, coming up with like weird puns, excellent wordplay, until finally the beat kicks in and you hear the drums, and we're like 4 times faster than what we started out at. And his flow is just constantly building from here. Towards the end of the track, dies off a little bit, slows down, and he ends with the same words that he said at the beginning. Restarts his story like it just circled back around. I love Them That's Not for what it stands for. I love the story behind the best part, and I honestly think that it's a really fun track off of a really underrated album.
Okay, this next one's dope. Kanye West, Ultralight Beam, not the most
classic.
Not even like a really under indie track like some of the other ones have been, but like honestly, one of my favorite tracks. Just because I have a key memory of this track. So Life of Pablo came out, and it was only on Tidal, and me and Trevor haven't listened to the album yet, but we're really like hyped about listening to it at some point.
Yes.
And we didn't get Tidal accounts, but like our buddy Stacy, because we were at the radio station at the time, our buddy Stacy was the music director, had this contact with Def Jam, and he was trying to get the Life of Pablo album from Def Jam, and eventually Def Jam gave it to him.
Told him to shut up and send it to him.
Yeah. Eventually Def Jam sent it to him, his Def Jam contact sent it to him, and but like we were hoping he'd send it to the show or before the show so we would have it, but he actually didn't. And halfway through the show, we're like going on a music break, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, Stacy hands us a hard drive, or hands us a flash drive, and on it's the Life of Pablo, and we haven't listened. It's the clean edits, and we haven't listened to it yet. So we're just like, what do we start with? Like, we want to play some of this album, but we don't know what track. So randomly, we just picked Ultralight Beam because we just thought it was a cool like title.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we like came back on air real fast during this music break, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna play some of the Life of Pablo. It's new. We haven't heard this yet, so it's brand new to us, and we hope you like it. It's only Untitled right now, so it's kind of an exclusive in a sense. So we played it, and we were utterly blown away about how Kanye like mixed gospel and hip hop so effortlessly. It's so beautiful. Everything from his vocals, having some memorable lines saying, pray for Paris, pray for the parents. Chance's entire part is just so fucking great. You got something about Chance 3. Heard you got to sell it to snatch the Grammy.
Let's do a good ass job with Chance 3.
That just gets stuck in my head so much. Like, I just love that line. And of course, just afterwards, the line that we created, don't ultralight cream yourself, buddy. But like, yeah, the song just has an impact, and I remember just being blown away with Trevor the first time we heard it, and it's just a really impactful part about not only our radio career, but just me and Trevor's friendship and just listening to this track. This is one of the first albums where we were just really hyped going into it, and then at first we're disappointed, but as time got on, we just were really hyped about it. And I don't know, I just think it's a beautiful track, and if you haven't heard it before, it's from an underrated album of his, really
super underrated,
really polarizing, but I don't know, I love this track so much.
Ultralight Beam probably means more to me than quite a I mean, that means a great deal to me. That's such a huge track in my music reviewing past, in my music taste past, and like everything that I stand for, everything that I like is kind of thrown into Ultralight Beam. Just like, wow, this album's changed so much. The publicity surrounding the album, how hyped I was during that. Like, I still remember that time period where every day I woke up and was like, now this sounds completely stupid, like, talking about it now.
Yeah.
But, like, every day I woke up and was like, will it be released? Will I get new information? Like, I was so excited for this album.
And we were just super hyped, and every time we come in the station, we always talk about, and, like, joke about Kanye with Stacey, and it was great.
Just how good this album would be, and it ended up living up to a lot of that. But this album has evolved so much like the hype for it has, much like the stories behind it have. It's almost become like a legendary object or figure in Vincent and I's friendship and kind of in our music world history.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I still have the original tracks from, like, the original pressing of The Life of Pablo, and I don't think I will ever get rid of those tracks because those are like rare now.
I have them on my hard drive.
Me too.
I have the OG version. I'm never
getting rid of
it. Have the original shitty mixing. After that, a track from my youth, Killers with Bones. Pound for pound, one of the catchiest goddamn songs on the planet. Like, I don't know. Have you heard this track? Are you aware of this track?
I have, but it's been a while.
Okay, so let me set the scene. I forget when this track came out, but I'm going to say 9-year-old Vincent, whose favorite song at the time is Mr. Brightside by the Killers, watches, like, MTV at the time, and there's this strange music video that's just debuting, and it's for the track Bones, and the video is directed by Steven Spielberg, and it has all these skeletons like going around the place. It's actually a pretty good music video for the time. I haven't watched it since, so it may have like not aged well, but I remember really liking the music video, and I remember the song getting stuck in my head, and I didn't hear the song again for like another couple of weeks because back then that's how music worked. You had to hear it on the radio, especially if you're young.
Ooh.
And I remember liking the track, but not really liking it a lot, but not hearing a lot. And it wasn't until a couple years later when I got the album when I absolutely fell in love with the track. And then I completely forgot about it for like years. Like I loved the Killers as a kid, but as time went on, I just stopped caring for them. And it wasn't until like a couple months ago when I was just like scrolling for music, I was like, oh yeah, I remember The Killers. I just want to remember, like, I remember really liking the song as a kid. I want to see how much it hold up, and goddamn was I blown away about just how goddamn catchy the song is. It's basically just, I just like the line, don't you want to come with me? Don't you want to feel my bones on your bones? Isn't that natural? It's like
They're skeletons.
they're spooky. Brandon Flowers' voice is great. I pound for pound, I think this is their best track. I think this is their most catchiest track.
This is from Sam's Town.
Yeah.
You take that back. When we were young, is from Sam's Town.
No, I said that. What? Oh, do you like that track more?
When We Were Young is the only song that my brother and I will sing together. We love that song.
I think I have Sam's Town.
Sam's Town's a classic.
Now I have this. I got this for Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuss is also a classic.
I haven't listened to that yet. I got it for $2 the other day. But yeah, I really love this track. It's part of my childhood. It's part of me. I just love that track, and I've been listening to it a lot recently. And ooh, beautiful. It's one of the songs where you have to sing along with it. It's fantastic. Okay, after this, I'm gonna say Kishibashi.
Kishibashi.
This Must Be the Place. Naive Melody by the Talking Heads. Okay, I listened to this, and I don't know if I liked it or not, but I think it was pretty cool.
Do you like? Okay, Talking Heads, as I talked about before, I think are one of the most influential bands of all time, and I will go out on a limb and say that they're one of the most influential bands of the 80s because I feel like they completely formed this new wave movement along with, like I said, like Depeche Mode, Devo. These bands were all come out of the same bowl here, you know? They all came out of the same pocket. This Must Be the Place may be the most well-known Talking Heads song from Speaking in Tongues. It's absolutely catchy as all get out, but it's kind of slow. David Byrne's vocals, they fit the song really well, but they come off as really, really pretentious. That's kind of something that Talking Heads did really well, as they pretended to be these very scholarly people, but they weren't really. I don't know why I feel that way about them and not Car Seat Headrest, I guess, but I don't know. But,
because Car Seat Headrest is just annoyingly pretentious at times. At least, not all the time, but on Twin Fantasy in those moments where we talked about earlier, yes. But I didn't get that from Teens of the Nile.
Basically, This Must Be the Place is a love song, but it's full of phrases that don't make sense. It's very honest. It's not corny or cheesy. But dang, it's got some really, really cool moments on here. What does he say? I'm just an animal looking for a home. We'll share the same space for a minute or two. Just really cool moments, I think, off of this song. But Kishibashi, I think, does this song so much more justice than David Byrne can. He's got a string section. His voice is so solid and so resonant in a way that David Byrne's voice could only dream of being. He's not the best vocalist in the world.
David Byrne is very yelpy.
He's very Scottish and yelpy.
But I feel that plays into his character. His latest single for his upcoming album, Everyone's Coming Over to My House. That opening
Not
line.
us. We didn't get invited.
Yeah, we were. Where the fuck is our invite, Byrne? But that opening line he has about I wish I was a camera. That gets stuck in my head all the fucking time because it is so yelpy, because it is so charismatic.
David Byrne is he's not a great vocalist, but Kishibashi makes this song a great, dare I say, art song. He takes it a little bit faster, adds this string section to it, which he's pretty famous for doing, and just creates something really special out of the cover that I honestly don't think that the original could have done better than Kishibashi can do himself. His voice just soars over some of these high notes. It ends very abruptly. It's just catchy as all get out. It's my most listened to song on Spotify. I absolutely love it, and I just love singing along with this in the car. I hope someday I can sing this in a professional setting. I really want to.
I wish I could help sing Everyone's Everyone's Coming Over to My House, so I could just say, I wish it was a kid. I think that's actually pretty spot on for what David Byrne actually was singing on that track, because it's super yelpy. And then finally, close off this segment, I think Trevor and me both really enjoy this track. Tenacious D. I got the CD just because I'm just gonna place it there.
It's been
Tenacious D with Wonder Boy. I heard the song in like high school and I was blown away on how stupid, how funny.
Did I play it for you?
No, I think my sister played it for me. Or no, I discovered on like YouTube.
I've known about them for a while.
But like, I just really enjoyed it because I knew Tenacious D before because I saw the movie and heard some of their other songs, but like I wasn't aware of the song and how actually good it was. Like, it's weirdly good, it's weirdly passionate. Jack Black has like a really good performance on it somehow. Like, it's like they could make actual music. I don't want them to make actual music because I don't think they'd be that good at it, but like they have potential to. Maybe, but like
this might be the closest to actual music you will get from Tenacious D.
This and Tribute.
Yeah. I would say Tribute's still very goofy.
Yeah.
Wonder Boy, while it has like very goofy moments, I think it's really heartfelt and it takes me to like a place of my youth that I can't describe in any other way besides this song.
When I think of this song, I think of listening to the song in the car with Trevor and your boys and just having a blast. That's what I think of the song. It's so catchy. It's so funny. Just like this, Jack Black playing this character of Wonder Boy, and I think JD's character,
young nasty man, arch rival, nemesis of Wonder Boy with powers comparable to Wonder Boy.
What power does he have? How about the power of flight that do anything for you? Just like this like
killing yak.
This like narrative they're building.
Best line of the song. How about the power? To move.
Just super goofy. Jack Black is very charismatic, but his vocals are actually very good on the track, and I think it's really fun overall. Very singable, very easy to sing along to. Wonder Boy. I will never do that again, but it's a beautiful, stupid track, and I love it. Yeah, I think this track's literally amazing. I like a lot of these tracks that were in this. Again, if there's a Spotify playlist, we'll probably link it down in the description for watching YouTube and Facebook, so if you want to listen to some of these songs, go ahead. And yeah, I hope you listen to some of these songs. I hope you search up and listen to them, especially Wonder Boy, because
a classic.
It's a classic. Okay, did you know everything is recorded?
I did.
This podcast is recorded. Did you know that?
No. What's this?
I've been recording these podcasts the entire time. You thought we were talking to the wall, but we weren't. Okay, I don't know how to start this introduction because it's kind of weird.
It's a little
strange,
convoluted. In all honesty, Richard Russell,
founder of XL Recording,
founder of, he's the head, of XL Records.
Mm-hmm.
The same guy who signed Adele. Has Radiohead and Arca
and
produced produced records by Gil Scott-Heron and of course the legend Bobby Womack. Richard Russell was the head, or I guess is the head of XL. Is he still?
I think he's still the head.
I think he is.
I know he was a founder,
but in 2013 basically. He was hospitalized, being paralyzed. He has Guillain-Barré syndrome. The best I can pronounce that.
Now you know how it feels to be me.
Basically,
and pronounce terrible words, even though this is actually hard to pronounce.
It is,
but like just knowing how to just like be shit at pronouncing something.
Basically, that was a autoimmune disease that attacks your nervous system. So he was paralyzed. And he can twiddle his fingers a little bit in the hospital, and he was sent this little synthesizer, to kind of keep him busy and help regain that motion, and that is kind of what this album is based off of is that synth and how it kind of brought him back into music in itself. And finally, Richard Russell began going by the name Everything Is Recorded and created this debut album, Everything Is Recorded by Richard Russell. That's him. Mm-hmm. And he basically makes the beats and plays the synth and plays the bass and the guitar. He doesn't sing.
Yeah. He's just producer.
And he relies on the voices of many others to kind of bring his
Voices and instruments of others.
yes, yeah.
Because Kamasi Washington's on here.
Yeah, and I mean there are a lot of others too, but he relies on kind of the voices and instruments of others to get his point across and kind of share his message. You've got people like Sampa, you've got Kamasi Washington, you've got artists that I've never even heard of, eBay,
Wiki.
Wiki's on here. Sid,
Green, I always forget his name.
Gigs is on here too.
Gigs, Green Gart's Side, Infinite.
Yeah, these are like some of them I know, some of them I don't.
Yeah.
Obong JR, I've never heard of him before, but he's also got like a lot of really big names in production wise too.
Damon
Albarn, Brian Eno, Warren Ellis.
What track is Brian Eno on? Did I miss that in the production notes?
I don't remember what track he helped. I know he helped. Peter Gabriel's on here.
Yeah, that was weird. Like I was hoping because it said on the track list on their website that Peter Gabriel was featured, but it was more like a writing feature. It wasn't like
it's like writing an instrumental.
Yeah,
but dang, like this.
Yeah,
this is full of some like really big names here.
Yeah, and honestly, going into it, I didn't think I was gonna like it. Not because I didn't enjoy the track, which we talked about last year, Mountains of Gold, because I really enjoyed that because it was able to bring so many different people together, but it was one unified piece. But like I just felt overall it was just not going to be a solid piece because there's so many other different people, because he was on production, just on production, and then he was going to have other people doing vocals for him, just because he was going to have other people doing vocals for him. And I was very surprised going into this how good it was. Like, it's a well-made, unified piece. The production of the piece, and how he keeps on bringing back these features. How Sampha keeps on showing up in that album. How Kamasi Washington shows up a couple times. How Ibele shows up a couple times. How Infinite shows up a couple times. How Green Gart Side shows up a couple times. So like it has a recurring cast. Like Gigs and Wiki only show up once, but like they're kind of the odd ones out on the album. Yeah. Most of the cast is recurring. I just think the production of the piece is what makes it so unified, and it's again, we mentioned Damon Albarn, who's on production on She Said. He plays the synth, and it reminds me a lot of a Gorillaz album, of what a Gorillaz album in kind of essence should be. The production is the same, and the features do take center stage, but everything feels unified. Damon Albarn pops up on a Gorillaz album here, and especially on Humans, kind of here and there, or randomly at times.
There's just not enough of him.
There's not enough of him, but that didn't feel like a unified piece. But like Demon Days, that's such a tight knit piece. Plastic Beach, again, a really tight, neat, consistent piece. Damon Albarn's not on every track, but he doesn't need to be because it just flows so well. There's just Snoop Dogg. Welcome to Plastic Beach. There's just Snoop Dogg on it in the orchestra. Damon Albarn's nowhere to be found, but he's not needed because it's so exciting, so fun, but it meshes with everything else so well that it doesn't matter. This is the same way. This album throughout gives me like Kanye West vibes. Either My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, like on the closing track, everything is recorded, or a lot on this project. I get a lot of 808s and Heartbreaks vibes, which is nice.
For sure.
I just like that style of pop music, and I think it's pop R&B music, and I think Richard Russell does it really well. I think this is the first time since 808s that I've heard the style be done in such a fluid way. Yeah, this album's surprisingly really exciting. I honestly liked it. I listened to this yesterday, not thinking I liked it, and I'm like, okay, at the end, I'm like, yeah, this is good. Listened to it one more time yesterday, because parts just kept on getting stuck in my head. I'm just like, wow, this is good. Listened to it this morning. I was just like, ooh. Listen to it again today. Just, ooh, it just kept on growing on me. Every listen, I was just like getting more and more hooked how much I liked it. What do I like about this project? Every time Richard Russell and Sampha get together, Sampha fucking kills it. I think he's the strongest performer on this project overall. The closing track, everything is recorded. Probably my favorite moment, just because it is just Sampha and Richard Russell. The not really opening, but the first like actual song, Close But Not Quite. That gives me chills. Just like the Curtis Mayfield sample that comes out of nowhere as a complete surprise to me is just so beautiful. It's something I would hear on Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I really like the very cheery piano production. Sampha delivers just such like a valid performance, and I feel like sometimes the performances that's like the weakest thing I have to say that this album offers. I think there's two moments in particular where performances are just not up to snuff. I think gigs on Wet Looking Road. I don't know. I said word. Wet Looking Road just doesn't do his best. Like he's not as hype as someone who is kind of considered a grime artist should be. I want like balls to the wall insane, but he's just kind of like laid back. The beat is very energetic and exciting, and I really enjoy the sample, but he's just kind of over. Just like, ting. And then Show Love with Sid and Sampha. Sampha's great. Sid is just not that strong vocally. She's never been that strong vocally. I think overall the track doesn't suffer from it. I think at the hook they're able to hide her weakness, but just on her lone verse, it's just like her auto tune is just not that good. It's just not. She's not the strongest vocalist she's never really had. I think she needs like tracks dedicated to her in order to show off her fullest potential as an artist. But like on this, it really isn't. But like moments that gave me complete utter fucking chills. Close But Not Quite. Again, the Curtis Mayfield sample, when that pops in, you're just like, what? Bloodshot Red Eyes with Infinite and Green Guard Side. God fucking damn, is that just beautiful. It is just bloodshot, your eyes, my eyes. I don't know what it's just such utterly fantastic. Yeah, like there's some brilliant moments. Oh, how can I even forget Mountains of Gold, the single that got us into Everything Is Recording. I saw an article online that said Wiki, Sampha, and Kamasi Washington are all on the same track, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Sent it to you. You were more confused than I was, and we listened to it, and we're blown away about how this fits so well. EB, I always mess up their name. eBay, Sampha, Wiki, and Kamasi Washington, all on the same track, and it works so well. Kamasi Washington, at the end, fucking killing it on the sax. Wiki killing it on his fucking verse, giving him the Manhattan style that we come to love with Wiki, one of his strongest performances. Sampha killing it, and Bay, I forget which sister it is. I remember it in my notes, but killing it with the spoken word. Lisa Diaz.
Not to mention they're singing Sampha over top of Lisa is amazing. Yeah. I love their voices blend really well together.
Hear it louder. I just like how they sampled that through the entire track. So going back to Kamasi Washington, my only like big complaint about his part on She Said is it just doesn't fit. Like it's not bad,
no,
but it's just like the track's very synthetic. Again, Damon Albarn's on the synth, and it's like it's soulful, but it's also like it's very funky. Very synthetic, Plastic Beach vibe, of course, because Damon Albarn's on the synth. But it's just like his sax solo is just
a little out of place.
It's
a real life instrument. It's
natural,
made of metal.
It's natural versus synthetic, and it just doesn't work. But there's some like utterly brilliant moments on this, and I think it's a very good project. I like this project a lot, and like the more I listen to it, the more I think people are just sleeping on it. Like I thought people were sleeping on the Mountains of Gold single when it came out, but like when I look at reviews for this album, I just think people are just like sleeping on it. Like, you think something with Sampha attached. Sampha is such like a big name artist nowadays. He's worked with Drake.
There for
He's
sure.
worked with Kanye West, like two of the biggest names in hip hop. Like, he's a well-known name. He dropped Process last year to critical acclaim, and people love that. But something with his name attached to it, he's on a lot of the tracks, he really isn't that.
He's not getting his credit.
Richard Russell isn't really getting that buzz that by having a sample attached. And I feel like it's disappointing. This is a really good project. I like it a lot. It grows on me. I think some of the weaker moments on it though, Show Love, Sampha gives a good job. Says not too much. I think Wet Looking Road is with Gigs is just I think kind of towards the end, Be My Friend and Kane. Actually, no, Kane's good. Be My Friend is one of the weaker moments. It's not bad, but it's just not as exciting as some of the other tracks. I do like Kane though for eBay, his spoken word. I like the poetry sample in the middle. I just think it's all over the place. Okay, I talked for way too long. What do you like about this record?
This record really surprised me. I didn't actually know really what I was getting into besides Mountains of Gold. But I started it out and I absolutely loved how well this whole album flowed into each other. It was like a Gorillaz album, but it worked really well. It flowed better than humans could ever dream of working. Even the intro, the sample that kept coming back, One May Feel Alone, where the guy's talking about being alone. He's talking about how you can be...
I'm trying to steal some cereal.
I steal you.
I'm sorry.
He's talking about how he you might feel alone at work without being alone. You might feel alone wherever in crowds without being actually alone. And I think that's kind of the moral of what's going on in Richard Russell's life and what he felt during that time of paralysis. He was in the hospital. I'm sure he was surrounded by friends, family, hospital staff, but he felt so alone in his own disease. He felt alone and imprisoned by his own body. He felt imprisoned by his own creative limits, but he worked around that with the synth and created something that led into something amazing.
Yeah.
Close but not quite, like you said, gives me chills every single time. That is such an amazing track. Almost like a Sam Smith vibe to it, but 20 times better.
Nah, just saying it is a Sam Smith type vibe. It's not. It's Kanye. This is Kanye.
I'd say
sampling.
Sam Smith, but this is amazing.
Brilliant.
I absolutely loved it. She said I really enjoyed Wet Licking Road. It didn't really give me any problems, honestly.
It's not bad. It's just
it's just kind of weird.
Not what it needs to be. It needs to be punchy.
It's
as
a
fuck.
little
It's
weak.
not.
But it's not bad.
Gigs doesn't ruin it. It's just not. It's he needs to be he's kind of sleepy. He's had a long day of work, and then he was recording this track. He needed an energy
Put on
drink.
a long day at the factory.
Yeah.
Next standout moment, definitely Mountains of Gold. This collaboration is absolutely fantastic. I loved it. Kamasi Washington, like you said, at the end just comes in with his hard-hitting sax, plays us out in a beautiful way. And Show Love, honestly, I liked Show Love quite a bit.
I like Sampha's part.
I even think that the two work together well, and
I feel like there is chemistry between the two, but I feel like
lot of
Sid is
chemistry,
just
but I think that Sampha was given a bigger part on purpose, and I'm super glad that he was.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. The Echoes in the Bone interlude where the intro comes back in, the same sample again.
Yeah, okay. One thing I gotta mention, the actual intro to this album, how it plays out all the different lines from the rest of it, how it gives you a preview of a coming track. It's beautiful. I like shit like that.
That's really cool.
I
It's
love
really cool.
giving you the interludes. This is how you fucking do interludes, because they're just short little musical moments. They don't overstay the time, and they're just nice little.
They're bridges.
listens.
They're
Yeah.
bridges. They're supposed to bridge a track into another, bridge an idea into another, and the bridge between Show Love and Bloodshot Red Eyes is fantastic. I love Bloodshot Red Eyes. Here's where my problems kind of start to come up. I personally didn't enjoy Kane that much. I feel
The
like
wrestler or the track.
Both. I feel like I might after a couple more listens, but it wasn't there for me after experiencing the beauty of the whole first half of the album. Kane it was a little boring for me, but I think that it, like, once I start, I guess, paying more attention to the lyrics, or, I don't know, once I just let it settle, I guess, I think it'll grow on me quite a bit. The Purify interlude, once again, amazing bridge into the next track, Be My Friend. Be My Friend reminds me a lot of, like, a Backstreet Boys kind of vibe. Can you see it? Like a 90s power pop track, or like an early 2000s power pop track. Probably one of the weaker moments on here. I'm not a huge fan, but it's not an album-breaking moment at all. And then finally Playing Out with Everything Is Recorded. We bring back Sampha by himself. Amazing choice on Richard Russell's part.
The orchestral. God fucking damn.
The musical choices made in Everything Is Recorded just really put the entire album into perspective, because I thought about how many different changes went on in one song, brought me into how many different changes were brought into the entire album. You know, this was played out really, really well, and just made to be a musical masterpiece. Yeah. I was blown away once I made that connection, I guess.
Yeah, just Sampha. I want a Sampha album produced just by Richard Russell. That's all.
Those two work together really well, as proven.
Sampha's my favorite part of this album, and he shows up a lot. Every time he shows up, I enjoy his performance. Close but not quite. At the beginning, everything is recorded at the end. Two of the best moments in the album. Probably wonder why. It's because they both have samples. They also have Sampha, and they both have excellent production from Richard Russell. I want a Sampha album produced by Richard Russell. Yeah, I want Sampha and Richard Russell producing his album.
Yeah.
I think they just work really well together. And I honestly kind of hope that everything was recording was Richard Russell and Sampha. It was the pairing of the two.
I hope so. He showed up enough on here to at least have some sort of creative decision making here. Yeah. Overall, final thoughts. I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to listen to this album.
We almost didn't review this week. And I don't know.
Twist of fate led us to review it, and I'm super glad that we did. In all honesty, in a way, it reminds me of a toned down JPEG Mafia, in saying that, like, there's not as much like gritty hip hop. There's not as much like just weird sampling or just like raw emotion, but in the way that it's just odd but amazing.
I don't get that, because JPEG Mafia was just constantly surprising. Not to say this is surprising and not surprising.
It wasn't surprising, but it worked. It brought together a lot of things that I didn't think would work, and they did.
Yeah. And
I feel like that's kind of what JPEG Mafia did. Overall, I've been pondering the score a lot throughout the day. I'm going to give it a 9.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 9 too. I was literally, because like, my initial review, I was going to give it like a 7. And then I went like 8.3, and then like I listened to it just before you came. I'm just like, this is not 8.3.
What happened to you giving Car Seat Headrest the top album of the week?
So like, just like shitting on just like it made me realize how much I dislike those parts. Just how much I dislike Tom York. I keep wanting to say Tom York, Will Toledo.
Yes, they're both moody and edgy.
They both dance incredibly well.
Yes.
Both phenomenal dancers. But like, I think it's just because of styles. But yeah, I just think Will Toledo's pretentiousness kind of just pissed me off when I first listened to it, and I feel like I kind of like hid that gut reaction, and I was gonna give it a 9 at one point, and I just realized it's good, but it's just that's what kind of kept it from this. And in the end, I really like this because it is such a consistent project. It surprises me in a good way.
It's consistently just like weird and beautiful, and wonderful.
And at the end of the day, moments that were on this album were stuck in my head the most. Like I did like out in that did have parts of stuck in my head. I like Car Seat Headrest, I have parts stuck in my head, but like Bloodshot Red Eyes has been stuck in my head for fucking day, the entire day. Everything is recorded and stuck in my head. The sample from Close But Not Quite has been stuck in my head the entire day. Parts of Show Love, parts of Mountain of Gold. This album is incredibly catchy. It's stuck in my head. And the fact that it's so underrated, and I feel like underappreciated, I kind of have to give it a 9. I think this is a very slept on.
It is our duty to give this a 9 so more people will listen to it.
I think we kind of have to. And the fact that, like, I had the most fun listening to this album.
Me too.
This was the last album I listened to yesterday. And honestly, it was my favorite. And I kind of wish I didn't listen to it last. I kind of wish I started with that and then went into Car Seat Headrest and then went into Out. Or no, maybe would everything is recorded, then Out, and then closed the Car Seat Headrest, because I feel like that one, it would have changed how I kind of viewed it more. But yeah, I think this record's utterly brilliant. Like, it's really good, and like just us talking about it just like made me flash about like, oh, we had fun here. You see, we had fun here. You see, same way you were talking about like your end list and how like Quelly Chris kept on like popping up in your head because it just, you had so much fun with it.
Yeah,
that's what I like about this project. I just had to have so much fun with it. You may think it's like a 6, you may think it's like a 7, but I think it's a 9. I think it's very well produced record, and this is what I wanted from fucking Sampha. Like, this is the potential I saw with him on tracks, on Process, and I did enjoy Process, but I felt like the production all the time wasn't like matching him. Like, there's a lot of piano ballads. Not to say piano ballads are bad. They're bad because they do provide a lot of emotion and stuff like that. But like, my favorite moments on that album are like Timmy's Prayer, where there's a change up in production, or Blood on Me. I think this album, especially with the Sampha part, it describes about what I like about this track. Sampha's giving us a good performance under excellent production, so it makes Sampha even look better than he already is, and he's utterly fantastic. Richard Russell just blows me away on this, and just us talking about it, I want to go listen to it. I want to listen to Bloodshot Red Eyes like 500 more times.
It's good.
And yeah, like, I think this record's great. I feel like it's very slept on, and 9 out of 10. And I really like it. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I really liked it. Rachel Russer, I hope you are doing good, and I hope you're really appreciated because you made it a good album. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Good work, boys.
Good work, boyos. And I think that is it for this episode of the Anthony Todd Show. It's nice to go out on a very high note.
Absolutely.
Okay, so next week for episode 28, what are we gonna do? If you want to listen, you probably want to. If you're planning on listening next week, you probably want to know what we're gonna be reviewing next week. As requested by our boy Samuel Putt, we're gonna be reviewing Reggie Snow, Dear Annie. I've heard some mixed. I've heard some really good, some really not good, but I'm interested. I haven't listened to it yet, so I'm interested in hear it for myself. We actually were planning on reviewing this week, and then we found out it actually did not come out this week because I fucked up and Google lied to me and said something else. But Debris, I don't know how to say his name. Debris University. We're the same. With 3-3, some great
tracks.
This is
actually coming out.
Yeah, it's actually coming out. If it's not, I'm gonna punch Google in the face. And any promotion that promoted otherwise that is coming out this date. But 3-3, again, great track with Doom. Little motherfuckers, no outside, no up front.
Not great. To mention his track with Rock Marciano,
Danny Brown, Quelly
Chris. Yeah.
After that, Charlotte Day Wilson with Stone Woman. Charlotte Day Wilson, mostly known to me as a Bad Bad Not Good collaborator. That's what I know from most, and I really like her voice, and I like the singles that come out from this project, so I'm interested in that. And after that, Black Milk, we're going to be drinking some rotten milk with fever, because you get a fever after you drink the rancid milk. Black Milk, of course, Danny Brown collaborator, indie hip-hop artist. I'm excited for that one. From what I've heard, it should be upper alley of the type of music we like. So I'm excited for next week. 28 should be a good show. But until next time, guys, make sure you like our Facebook. Make sure I actually get all the saliva out of my mouth. It was just piling up.
Spit. Not on me.
Don't spit on me. I don't know what that was. That's blood on me, but it's spit.
Don't spit on me.
Until next time, guys, make sure you like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Symbol. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play Music, iTunes, and Spotify. That's a mouthful. If you want to submit a question for next week's episode, there's a link in the description. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, they'll take you to Google Doc. But if you want to ask questions through like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, just send us questions. We'll answer them on the show. If you like our theme songs, produced by our big friend DJ Quester, and the song's called No Sleep, and our outro song's called Reply. Links to the songs in the description. This has been episode 27 of the Anthony and Todd Show, an episode we would like to call "We're Oot a Pepperoni."
It doesn't make any sense anymore.
We're Ot a Pepperoni, alternately titled Triplet Fantasy Ass to Ass to Ass. This has been episode 28. 27. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time.
Bye, everybody.